Yeah, we gonna keep this shit going real quick. You already know the vibes. So, one thing I want to tap on particularly is about the middleman, right? There's always going to be a middle energy standing in between your access to the divine and how you perceive that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got a lot of energies out here that exist that just don't know how to let it go, don't know how to just let the divine do its own personal job. Like, the divine needs us to help him express our situation. And when you have something coming in the middle of that concept, you are deemingly giving your spiritual energy to that person. By default, these people end up becoming what we like to call spiritual vampires. You know what I'm saying? Like they like to suck your energy in while telling you that you can go to the divine. I don't need a little cart with an old lady or an old dude sitting there at the edge of the road talking about, come to me, I have tinctures and I have medicine for you that will help you straight from God. Like, you don't need that. You know what I'm saying? At all. But because they don't feel complete within themselves, they feel the need to always address something about the divine principle that you can access for yourself. See, even within my teachings, I'm only experiencing or giving people my experiences on how I attach to the divine, me personally, to encourage you to walk that road by yourself. And if you can walk that road by yourself, then you're going to start getting somewhere. But ultimately, you always going to have some place, people, or things trying to tell you this right here is divine. You can find that divine by pushing away from everything that has a voice, has a place, or a thing to offer, and going within blind faith. You go through some of my bills, you will see that I say this a lot. Deal with blind faith when you get that vibe, when you get that first thought, when you get that wherewithal and it came from nowhere, out of the ether. Go in blind thought and watch what the divine do for you. This is always going to be a hard road for people to follow because they live within their own mind. They can't see no way out of that, and it's not a practice that they used to, so they feel like, I got to do something now. I'm always screaming, have patience, not just for yourself, but for the divine, because the divine can't hear you if you're not hearing yourself. How does the universe know you really changing just to accept that, just to accept that energy that comes from the divine if you always talking, or if you always in your own head, or if you always think you're going to figure it out for yourself? Man, I love that connection to the divine. And no matter what, there's nothing better or stronger than that. Your mind is always going to be a treacherous thing, especially when you're looking outside in the world, and your heart is going to lead you to places where, you know what, there you go, walking away from the divine again. Yeah, they're good for the particular situation because you need your mind and your heart when the divine actually sends you something good so you can pick up those signals. You know what I mean? So when you pick up those signals, yeah, you know when it's real, you know when it's innate, you know it comes directly into you. It didn't come from an outside source. I've watched things grow, I watched things fail. I've had stable foundations and I had weak ones. I've had loves that I thought was my best love ever, and I've had false ones. I've dealt in so many situations only to be led back to the divine. Period. Only to be led back to the divine. Period. You know what I'm saying? Every single time. And that happiness, that joy that the divine gives you, oh my goodness, is something wonderful, because you will ultimately think that you have to search or find this within something else. But then you start to knit everything that the divine gives you in life with that divine principle, the divine needle and thread. You be able to knit that together by responding. If the divine think that's for you, it ain't going nowhere. If the divine believes it's supposed to be a certain way, you can't judge how that's going to come out. Let me remove the way I try to see something and say, yo, yeah, you deal with the divine on that. You know what I mean? It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. Oh, man. Divine got me feeling warm right now. Let me take this head wrap off real quick. If y'all don't mind, just give me a second. I don't know where I'm at. I'm at 5 minutes. I got time to take this head wrap off real quick. Excuse me. Y'all see my locks is looking like horns in there. You know what I'm saying? I had to braid them up last night, but I know moreover than anything, I could depend on that connection, the divine connection. And I don't have to rely on nothing else, but there's a level of respect that comes from even the interpretation of people thinking they can guide you to the divine principle. Yeah, they out here, but sometimes it's a test to see if you're willing to listen to something other than yourself, right? So the divine has set things in motion towards you that you know it don't feel right by the way it's making you feel on the inside. Like, I don't want to hear da. Naturally, you wouldn't feel like that about the divine, because the divine can go inside you and tweak little things to make you hear that correctly, especially when your intention on listening is the value. And all these little tests are ultimately leading you just to connect to the divine. You can give me any story you want, and I'll show you how the divine exists in it or don't. It's not rocket science, man. You just got to open up your eyes, the right eyes and the right ears, to hear those signs and symbols. So therefore, you can move forward in your life with grace and real unconditional love and prosperity. Otherwise, you're going to constantly keep hitting a roadblock, trying to punch through it. Eventually, your hand's going to get bloody. Your knuckles going to get busted, and you ain't going to be able to fight no more. I don't care what nobody say. I'm going with the divine. I'm on team divine. You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all can do what y'all want. I'm on team divine. If I lost it all and gained it back tomorrow, I know where my heart lies at. Team divine. Get in where you fit in. I don't know what else to tell you. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Respect. Nupanuku. Panukaku. Nupanuku. Nupanuku. Panukaku. Panukaku. I am light. I am light. Yo, love y'all, man. Love yourself. Love the divine first and foremost before anything. And keep that connection strong, because you can't get nothing to happen correctly without the divine. Even if it seems like everything is going on for everybody else, it ain't going to never be as good as the divine can do it for you. So heed that warning. Heed that message. Put the divine in your heart and watch how it takes off. Like a plane. You already know the vibes. NAGA. Salute.